Nobody's surprised.
Then I'm ready to talk my shit.
Yeah. Welcome back, everybody, to the sixth round with post-fight show with me, Zane Simon, and my co-host, as always, Eddie Mercado. Eddie, welcome back. No longer. Okay.
I didn't even say anything.
And Eddie's final appearance on the sixth round post-fight show. Getting you lost back on that desert island again, man. All right, we're here joining y'all from 304, the close of UFC 304 in Manchester, England. Very happy to have not been there live for the night tonight. That crowd was struggling hard by the end of that show.
Sure. Oh yeah.
And I mean,
it's like what? It was like around 5:30 a.m. their time when the main event was kicking off.
Like 6 by the time the main event was kicking off, I think.
That's tough.
The gotta think too that like they got that pop. They got those big fights right in the co-main and the Pimblett fight right there. Got all the excitement, that all the energy that they had been, what little they'd been holding on to for hours and hours of drudge, terrible decisions and mediocre fights. Get that big pop, and then back in for Bilal Muhammad, Leon Edwards, and that just had to have been like so draining. I'm glad UK has a good rail system, because none of those people, I don't care if they've been drinking or not, none of those people should be on the road after that.
Yeah, that's a long night. That's some dedication. Just to watch your hometown guy get just held for three rounds. That's, well, almost 4, really.
Yep. Now, so let's dive in and talk about it. Leon Edwards, I came into this thinking 2 things. A, Leon Edwards has looked really not very good lately in his last few. I can't remember the last time actually Leon Edwards had a full fight where he looked good in every round.
Probably the Bilal fight, maybe.
Well, yeah, because it was just 1 round. But otherwise, he always has rounds where he just looks bad. And sometimes, like the first Usman fight, the majority of that fight, he did not look like he was in it. And he still managed to scrape out the wins. So that was my first thought is, man, Leon Edwards has not looked good in a while. And the second thought was, I think this is a terrible enough style matchup that I have to pick it Leon Edwards still for Bilal. This is just a bad style clash for Bilal.
Sure.
And credit to Bilal. He went out there and he just said, bet, prove it that this is a bad matchup for me. Prove it, Leon Edwards, that you can beat me if I go out right in and get in your face the whole time and make you react to me the whole time. And Edwards just kept freezing up. He froze up round after round after round. And he had moments where you could see, like, clearly Edwards is very capable of competing with Bilal Muhammad. He landed really sharp strikes when Bilal would pressure him.
He did the most damage in the fight.
He reversed takedowns. He got on top. He out-wrestled Bilal at times. He was fully capable of competing in this fight. But this is something that I think has been a plague for Edwards his whole career, and it's kind of been a secret plague because most fighters don't want to tangle with him as a striker. Is that Leon Edwards hates fighting in the pocket. Hates it. And what Bilal did, to his credit, I think better than he's ever done before, especially against a southpaw, is he got in Edwards' face, and even when he was getting nailed with hard shots, he kept the pocket just with a constant stream of pitter-pat jabs. He just kept something in Edwards' face all the time. And what would happen is that Edwards would just get sick of it very clearly. He would just start to be like, he would back himself up, be like, man, this sucks. And suddenly Muhammad would have a clear shot in on his hips, and Edwards wouldn't even be thinking about it until he's already in the air, getting picked up and slammed. I mean, he got slammed on the top of his head.
He got dropped on his fucking head. Yeah,
And
that's wild.
like, Edwards, as he's been a great takedown defender for a lot of his career, but he just absolutely hated the pressure that Muhammad put on him. And Muhammad made him pay for being a guy who has often frozen up and often taken his eye off the ball in fights. And like, he basically just kind of went out there and had that Nate Diaz 5th round against Leon Edwards a bunch of times.
Yeah, this was tough for Leon. It almost seemed like he was in a dream and having an outer body experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he was dwarfed by the situation or something, or maybe he just wasn't ready for the kind of pressure that Bilal was going to bring.
Which, I mean, if you're going to fight Bilal Muhammad, you got to be ready for that.
Yeah, but I think the way that Leon pressed forward in their first fight, just with zero respect for the striking of Bilal, none of that was there today.
No, it was
none
not.
of it, and he needed that.
He did. He had to force Bilal to respect that southpaw matchup with the pressure, force Bilal to reckon with the idea that he can't go through that middle distance without getting hurt, and that he is going to get pushed back, and it just didn't happen at all. And I mean, I will say this, I'm not going to build excuses for the man, but I was absolutely not surprised when it was the first thing he mentioned right after the fight. Leon Edwards did look really tired. Just from the first moment the fight started, he looked like a man who was very sleepy. And he said it right afterward. He's like, the timing screwed me up. I felt like I was tired all week. I've been trying to get to this weird hour that they wanted me to fight at, and I don't want to build excuses for the man, but that was a very tired performance,
Sure. And you have to attribute a lot of that to the time, but you also have to attribute it to the style that Bilal brought.
Yeah.
That's an exhausting style.
And Bilal has to face the time change too. Like, he has to face jet lag as well. So
sure.
I mean, maybe that almost helps Bilal because he's, for us, that was normal time. For him in the States, he fought at a normal time. So could almost be that helped him. But, usually if you have to face the jet lag and the time change and all that, then it's not really a great excuse for Edwards.
Man, Bilal looked jacked too. That man looks swole as fuck.
He has been looking jacked for a minute now. I'm not we're not saying anything.
We're not saying anything.
No. But he's looking buff in a way that Bilal Muhammad for many years did not look buff.
Yeah.
He's out there training with those Russians and,
Yeah, which would never use performance-enhancing drugs.
No.
Ever. No, but good for Bilal, man.
Yeah.
What a way to stay the course, right? I mean, I'm not sure if he had so many people doubting him going into this, and just especially after the first fight.
Yeah.
So for him to actually show up and perform, man, that's insane. I didn't think he was going to do it. I'm going to be honest with you. He shocked me.
No, I didn't think so either. Like I said, my two thoughts were Leon hasn't looked good for a while, so I can't be shocked that Leon Edwards had a flat performance. But also, this just seems like a miserable matchup for Bilal. He's not been good against southpaws. He has struggled a lot with rangy strikers to hang with them on the feet, and his outs have usually been his wrestling game or his kicking game. And his kicking game I didn't expect it to show up in this fight, and it didn't really. But his wrestling game showed up like I would not have counted on against Edwards at all.
Yeah, Bilal had that really nice uppercut. I think it was in the 1st, and then he had that crazy high crotch takedown where he dropped Leon on his head. But outside of that, he really didn't do any damage.
No, I mean that's kind of Bilal's thing.
But like those last 10 seconds, Edwards busted his face.
Oh yeah, no,
busted his face. But the most significant moment of the entire fight.
Which, that's the thing that's frustrating, is that it feels like when Leon Edwards did compete, he made it clear that he absolutely could beat Bilal Muhammad. But there was a lot of this fight where it just felt like he was just sick of what Muhammad was doing. Like Muhammad was pressuring him, and he would just kind of freeze up, and he would tuck back up against the cage and stuff like that, or he would get cracked with something, and it just, he would freeze up, and Bilal Muhammad would be on him and be taking a dominant position at the point where, for Leon Edwards to get back in the round or get back in the fight, it was going to be a horrible chore. Somebody asking here, do we think Leon is a head case? His coaches always have to yell at him. I mean,
sure.
I mean, every MMA fighter I kind of think is a head case in some way or another.
Sure.
It like I say, for Leon Edwards, I think the big thing is just that he's never seemed like a fighter that really enjoys scrapping, being in like a war. That's never the fight Leon Edwards wants to have.
I think what they're really asking is Leon's mental his biggest weakness? Like, is that the problem?
Yeah.
And yeah, it might be.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's clearly a good athlete. He's a polished striker. He's a good wrestler and grappler. And he has there's just parts of the fight that he clearly does not seem to enjoy. And at that point, you got to say that's
to your point about him being tired and him saying he was tired. There were times when Bilal had the back and Leon was just like closing his eyes. Like he was just,
like I said, he looked sleepy out there. I don't want to, and this is from the first round. So I don't want to be like, oh, he gassed or something like that. It just seemed like he looked. I will give some credence to the scheduling of this card fucked me up excuse, because he looked like he was sleepy. But at the same time, Leon, that fight he had with Colby Covington last time, that was a terrible fight. That was a terrible fight, not just for Colby Covington, but for Leon Edwards too. So I can't be just like, oh, well, Leon Edwards usually looks good and like he's not just sleepwalking through a round. He does it every fight. So
yeah, he went full Sleepy Joe tonight for sure.
Yeah.
Doing his best Joe Biden.
Oh,
poor guy.
But now Bilal Muhammad, we have Bilal Muhammad champion.
Yeah,
and I'm shocked. I will say for the past year, I've kind of felt like the welterweight title is in a belt warming competition for Shavkat Rakhmonov, and that's not changing.
No, definitely not changing. I can't believe Bilal's the champion.
Yeah,
most boring champion of all time.
Oh no! There's been so many UFC champions. Like Sean Shirk was UFC champ at one point.
Barely.
Yeah, but it still happened.
But not long enough for him to have a boring performance with it.
But neither is Bilal Muhammad. He won the belt today, literally.
Yeah, literally, but come on now. The man doesn't finish, and that's okay. I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him.
I'm just saying that we've had many champions. I'm not going to call him the most boring champ. yet. He will.
Okay.
He will.
Let him earn it.
I'll need to see at least a couple. Yeah. Hey. Oh. Well. It's only one division difference, so we could get Sean Strickland versus Bilal. There we go.
Book it. Book it.
Yes. Somebody else notes Nico Montano also existed for literally a heartbeat.
She never defended, though, right?
Neither has Bilal, Eddie. Neither has Bilal. We don't know. He might be struck by lightning tomorrow.
True.
Also, we had Tyron Woodley's championship reign, which that got real bad by the time it was over.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Anyway, I didn't see it coming. I'm happy for the dude. I will say that. Like, he has worked really hard for a lot of years. He has clearly improved his game. He got buff. He got those muscles now.
Super buff.
And he's out there pressing, and he took the fight to Edwards. He fully deserved to win that title. And like I say, I just, book that Shavkat fight tomorrow. That's the fight I want to see.
Is he healthy yet? Do you know?
Shavkat?
Yeah.
Let me see.
I remember after that Stephen Thompson fight, he said he had some injuries he had to clear up.
Yeah, well, I think he'd clear him up for a title fight. Oh, whoops. Why did I switch that? Okay. Rachmanov, Wiki.
So how many defenses is Bilal going to get? Over or under one?
I think he'll get one. Over. I'm going one exactly.
Okay. One exactly. So
I
the
think
over under will be 0.5 then.
Yeah, I think he will end up with I think he'll end up with somebody like JDM or something for his first title defense.
That'd be weird.
And I think that will be a fight. That kind of fight is a fight that he would win. And so then I would have to pick, I have to say one. Because otherwise, we've got Shavkat. Usman
Shavkat is the rightful deserving person.
Yeah, but there is a chance. I think people are talking about the chances that Shavkat might be getting booked to fight Ian Machado Gary, which I think Gary called for Shavkat. So
yikes,
that's a fight that both men want. So it seems like a fight that the UFC is going to be happy to make. At which point
they'll probably make it for the interim title.
At which point the only other top-ranked fighters out there are Kamaru and Covington and Gilbert. So Jack is at number 5. It would be like the highest-ranked guy without a fight booked. And if, like I say, somebody would you pick Bilal versus JDM? I would pick Bilal Muhammad over Jack Della Maddalena. Right now.
I don't know.
After the JDM Basel Hafez performance, I'm picking Bilal to grind that fight out.
Man, his fights are not fun.
No, but that's not why I'm picking. I would not be picking him for the fun factor.
I mean, he does have a chance to be the most hated champion of all time. He could really lean into that, go full heel, and he's got the potential.
Yeah. Nah, I don't think he doesn't have the personality. There's not nearly enough. He doesn't even have like Josh Koscheck levels of hateability.
I don't know, man. He gets a lot of hate.
He gets a lot of hate. It's not like hate of a guy that people are interested in,
No, the hate's more of like they just make fun of him. They just
Yeah,
like to bully him, which is ironic.
exactly.
Which is ironic because that's his nickname, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, Sean Strickland, he got a lot of hate too, but people would also like show up to hate him, or
Yeah.
Koscheck, they would show up to hate him a bit.
No, but this is like real hate. This is
Well,
like
yeah, but I don't
true.
think anybody shows up to hate Bilal Muhammad. They just don't show up.
Yeah. Maybe it's worse than hate. Maybe it's apathy.
It is, yeah.
That's
So,
worse.
yeah, I don't think there's. Anyway, it is. I'm happy for Bilal. I think he might get a successful title defense out of this, but I think that the UFC will be co-maining him with a title fight over him almost no matter what, unless they're going to start putting title fights on Fuel TV again.
Or Fight Pass. It might be a Fight Pass thing. But yeah, Bilal's not fun to watch. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the co-main event. Tom Aspinall, Curtis Blades, and man, new year, same story for Curtis Blades, huh?
Yeah, but at least this one was for some gold.
Yeah. He had a big purse on the line. I hope a contender, because it's an interim championship fight, so technically, I guess the UFC could be stingy and be like, "Oh, it's not a real title, so we don't pay you a contender's purse." But I think he probably got contender's purse out of it.
Yeah, he probably got some good paper. But I mean, come on now, Tom Aspinall is that dude. He is that dude. He is so athletic and so fearless, and he's the champ.
He is.
I love me John Jones. I love me some John Jones. He's the GOAT. But Tom Aspinall's the heavyweight champ.
Yeah, Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight champ of that division, no question. And it's just a formality. It feels like it's just a formality, a matter of time before we all get to see that too. Not because he's going to fight John Jones, but because John Jones is just going to walk off into the sunset, claiming that he never lost in his whole career, and the UFC will have to give Tom Aspinall the belt as a consolation.
And I'm fine with that, by the way. I'm totally fine with that. I do not need to see John Jones and Tom Aspinall. They are different eras.
Mm-hmm.
I am all for the double retirement in the Stipe John Jones fight.
This is also true. As a result of this, we have still learned absolutely nothing about Tom Aspinall.
Well, we learned that his knee is repaired and healthy.
His knee is healthy, but he has still not been past round 1 since fighting Andrei Arlovsky in 2021. He's barely been past the first minute of round 1 in all that time. And that was only one of 3 times he's ever seen a round 2 in his whole career. So yeah, we still do not know how Tom Aspinall will fare against an elite level heavyweight that he has to fight for 2 rounds or more.
And I'm fine with that. Like they were saying the same things about Mike Tyson back in the day.
Yeah, no, it is, he's violent and fast and hits hard as hell, and I'm here for it.
I feel like we got lucky. I feel like we've been blessed with Tom Aspinall. We don't deserve Tom Aspinall. I'll even say that. He's
got somebody in here saying that Dana White is in the press conference saying he's letting PFL take Muhammad Mokaev, which
fine by me.
If that's true, then oh, what are you going to do for your next title fight, though? Like,
what? There's Amir Albazi's out there, right?
Is he even slightly healthy? Didn't he have a neck injury?
I have no fucking idea. I can't keep up with that.
Oh man. Anyway, Tom Aspinall, yes, in an era right now where I feel like half the UFC has title contender or title belt holders that are not really actually championship level fighters. Tom Aspinall does feel like a championship level fighter. He feels like a real legit heavyweight champ, and it's so damn fun watching him get to do his thing. He fights like he fights like he thinks he's a normal guy.
Well,
Like
he'll be the first to tell you that he's a normal
that's
guy.
right. That's right. Just a 6'5", lightning fast, training MMA his whole life, normal guy.
Just a regular dude, like any
Just a
one of
regular,
us.
any one of us. I'm getting off the couch tomorrow and starting my journey to the UFC heavyweight title.
Nice.
Yes.
You might have to pack on some weight or get some rocks for your pockets.
Yeah.
There's a
There we go.
minimum. I don't know
Yeah.
what you weigh, but I don't think you're 265.
Just a little shy. A
Just
little shy of 265. You give me a couple of months and some burgers, I'll get there.
No, man, but I'm so thankful that we have Tom Aspinall. He's great.
Yeah.
He's likable. He's a freak athlete, and he's so well rounded. You know what I mean? He'll submit someone just as quick as he'll knock them out.
Mm-hmm. No, he's got a good wrestling game. He's got a fun submission game. He's got heavy hands. He's fast. He has no defense at all, but he doesn't need it. So who cares?
Yeah. And he goes out to fight. He's not out there competing. He's out there fighting.
Yeah, he is out there to scrap. So, and I'm glad that we got that in this card too. Okay, so we actually had somebody quoting it. White says that Mokaev is not under contract anymore. The PFL is going to get a great undefeated guy. Good luck to him. Damn.
Damn. Maybe he's already been talking to him.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Mokaev must have tried to play hardball in negotiations or something. Because, like, also though, PFL doesn't have a men's flyweight division.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. What's up with that?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Probably Dana White's way of playing hardball back in public. I would be honestly pretty surprised if something doesn't shake out of it in the future. But anyway,
yeah, no, flyweights get no kind of say. Dana, no.
All right. What do we got for the next heavyweight title challenger though? Since we know Jones and Stipe are both retiring. I
feel like you got to do Cyril Gane.
Yeah, that does seem like the fight. It would be nice if Gane took another fight. Well, he's booked to fight Volkov again. That's right, isn't he?
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know why I get the practicality of why they rebooked that, but Volkov versus Gane as a title eliminator, that just doesn't.
Nah, it should be just Gane versus Aspinall.
Yeah, it should just be Gane versus Aspinall. Scrap that. But they're trying to lure the idea that John Jones versus somebody else is going to happen, and the only way that you can create that image is if other people are doing other things. You can't be like, oh, booking another heavyweight title fight alongside the idea that Jones Miocic is out there.
Cyril Gane is the only guy in the top 5, not including Jones because he's champ, but he's the only guy he hasn't faced yet.
Yep.
No, and honestly, outside of that, Stipe doesn't count. Nope. Almeida's nowhere close. Really, there's not much.
There's nothing going on at heavyweight right now at all.
You have to do Derek Lewis.
Oh.
Wow.
All right. Now let's talk about a lightweight bout. Paddy Pimblett, Bobby Green. And I'm sorry, Bobby, but you had your moment to be king, and that wasn't it.
Nope, off with his head.
That was not a king. Kings don't shoot takedowns on Paddy Pimblett.
And then get tech subbed for it.
Yeah, and then get tech subbed for it.
No,
that was the anti-king move. He is now Bobby Green once again, forevermore.
Man. He should have just stood with him. He should have just fucking stood with him.
And it gets said every single time. I have to say it to myself every single time. Paddy Pimblett is really big for a lightweight. It always surprises me every time I see him in the cage. Even with somebody taller than him out there, I'm still just like, God damn, this guy is kind of huge. And I think that just must have really thrown Green for a loop, because he tried trading with Pimblett for a couple of minutes and he just clearly hated it. Hated it enough to shoot a takedown on him.
Or maybe he just thought he was being clever.
Well,
hard to say.
Yeah, I think he just didn't like it. I think he just got out there and realized Pimblett is actually big, and despite how high he carries his chin and how awkward he throws his punches, he's also just really fast. And I think he put a scare into Green early, and Green decided, I'll show this kid on the ground. And just, no.
Instant mistake. Right into the quicksand.
There is actual people, people hate on Paddy Pimblett because he's been pushed as a potential title contender, and it's been clear for years that he was not going to be a title contender. But he does have actual skills. He is actually a dangerous fighter. And you can't just walk into his guard.
No, that thing's ridiculous. The way he went from guillotine to triangle to cutting the angle to getting the triangle, technically submitting Green, but also working the armbar on an unconscious man.
Seeing that arm pop like that while the ref is just watching and Green's just passed out. Nasty work.
It's ridiculous. Nasty work. Yeah, that's top shelf shit right there. No one's ever done that to Bobby Green.
No. It is a legit feather in Pimblett's cap. And rough night for Green. And hey, you know what? Credit to Pimblett. For the first time in his career, he called somebody out.
He called out someone that was booked already.
Yeah. But I do want to see him fight that Renato Moicano fight.
Yeah, me too. But I'm not 100% sure that Moicano gets past BSD though.
No, that is a real danger. So, hey, I'd watch Paddy Pimblett fight Benoit Saint-Denis if Saint-Denis is down for it.
Yeah. Talk about someone big for the weight class.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, because otherwise, your other option, like Fiziev barely fights anymore. And
Turner just lost, right?
Turner just lost. RDA just lost. And I don't really want to see Pimblett RDA.
Max Holloway's not a realistic option.
No.
Isn't Dariush coming off a loss also?
Dariush is coming off a loss, but that would be a fun fight to make.
Chandler doesn't exist.
Yep.
Now we're getting too far up there.
Yeah. So I guess you wait for Benoit Saint-Denis, Renato Moicano.
That's not too far away.
Dan Hooker, and Dan Hooker just got booked against Mateusz Gamrot. So it's also somebody mentioning Mateusz Gamrot as well. Gamrot and Hooker are booked to fight each other, and I think the winner of that fight is probably going to think that they are above a Paddy Pimblett fight, considering Gamrot is ranked 5th in the division, and if Hooker gets a win in that fight, he is going to probably want to target a real top shelf bout.
I can't believe Max Holloway is ranked at lightweight. Not that he's not deserving. That's just not his weight class.
Yeah. Just bump him out of there, guys. Come on. Keep it moving. All right. Let's talk about middleweight bout. Gregory Rodriguez, Christian Leroy Duncan,
Oh, wait a minute.
CLD.
We didn't even talk about dipping your hands in gasoline.
Oh, yeah.
It
Yeah.
must work.
That's right.
The
Hands
proof,
hard as hell.
the proof is in the pudding.
That's right. I'm going to go do that now. My hands are all scraped up from the heavy bag.
So that punch that dropped Curtis Blades, a jab.
Yeah.
There's something to it.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, we're talking about that middleweight bout. Gregory Rodriguez, Christian Leroy Duncan. And yeah, I don't know. I thought this would be a decently fun booking because it's impossible to have a Gregory Rodriguez fight that isn't fun. But it was also just a clear case of way overbooking CLD. Like, there is nothing on this man's resume whatsoever that would suggest that he was ready for Gregory Rodriguez. And that's what it looked like in practice.
Honestly, nobody's ever ready for Hobocop. Nobody's ever ready for that. He is such a different animal, man. Channel 1, Channel 2, Channel 3, Channel 4. What the fuck was that about?
Oh, man. So we got to talk about this for a minute. Aspinall and Pimblett almost saved it. But I do got to say, from a production standpoint, not from a fight standpoint, because, well, the fights weren't great. For a lot of the fights were kind of mediocre. And they weren't terrible, but they weren't. It was not an action-packed card for locals at 3 or 4 in the morning. Overall, from a production standpoint, this really just felt like the UFC kind of had a really bad night, both for live fans and online fans, in a way that the promotion almost never has. Like, you can say a lot of stuff about some poorly booked cards, some watered down cards, but in terms of actual production standards, that's always where the UFC hangs their hat. And this felt, watching online, was clunky and awkward and some weird tech issues in there. And then for the live audience, it's the middle of the fucking night.
Yeah.
They don't want to see, they don't want to sit through 7 straight decisions in the middle of the night, like 3 in the morning.
Maybe Dana White made a trade. He traded Mokayev for the PFL production team.
Yeah. No kidding.
You know what I'm saying?
It's the Demetrius Johnson, Ben Askren trade all over again.
Yeah, this is honestly the worst. Probably the worst. There were more mistakes on this card than I think I can ever remember. Decades maybe.
Yeah,
like we got to go back early 2000s or something to get this kind of clunky production out of the UFC. And I mean, maybe it is the time. People are falling asleep. I don't know. I'm trying to make excuses for him, but not good. Not a good sign.
No. In an era where the UFC is increasingly getting complaints that it feels like they're just kind of coasting on their cards, this felt like a night of them coasting on their production, being like, oh, we don't need to serve the hometown fans because they'll show up no matter what. So we're just going to put this on in the middle of the night. And we don't need to serve the fans on, the fans paying for the pay-per-view back home. We can just put together this like clunky, error-ridden thing. It's not important to have it be like slick and well-produced.
And it was so difficult for me to even buy the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Like, ESPN Plus is trash.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Like, it just, I don't know why. Like, I'm trying to give you guys money. What are you doing? It literally takes me like 10 times of trying just to get in. It's trash. It's trash. They got to find a better streaming service.
Also, this is hilarious. One of our commenters has noted here. Dana White says that tonight proved that upping the bonuses doesn't work. Upping them doesn't change anything. It doesn't make anybody fight me harder. I'm not doing this again ever. My man, you put on the fights at 4 in the morning. What are you doing? You want peak performances? Don't put on fights at 4 in the morning. Don't do it. Put on fights at a normal time when normal people are awake.
Yeah, I mean, Patty got a first round tech sub. Aspinall got a 60-second TKO.
Sure. Mick Parkin got a knockout at, you know what? A normal fight time, because he was the one fighting at a normal time when normal fights happen.
Yep. Did I mention that Idiocracy is becoming a documentary?
Yeah. All right. So Christian Leroy Duncan, terribly overbooked against Gregory Rodriguez. Easy win for HoboCop. Really made Duncan pay for having all the janky, like, I learned how to throw a spinning back kick before I learned to throw a jab game.
Bro, I love the way that HoboCop was just punching through the offense of CLD,
right?
Just punching right through it. Like,
and CLD kept turning his back to run and like try and skate away. And so HoboCop just kept coming at him with the overhand right that was catching him on the back of the head every time. It's like, man, a guy that you are standing and facing and looking straight in the eyes should not be able to punch you in the back of the head. That should not be happening. There is a major problem in the technique that you've been taught for your whole career if you are getting punched in the back of the head like 5 straight times. No, I held up 4, but 5 straight times by a man that you are standing directly across from facing.
CLD had this coming, though.
Yeah.
I mean, he's always been someone really open in their style. Hittable, I'll say. So someone like HoboCop who hits as hard as he does and has zero fear.
Yeah.
I'm actually impressed that CLD didn't get finished.
No, he fought hard to decision loss. Credit to him. He took a whipping, but yeah, they need to realize his management team and the UFC need to realize he's not on that level right now. He needs a lot more seasoning. All right. That brings us to a featherweight bout. Arnold Allen, Giga Chikadze. I got to know, where were you going, Eddie? Were you riding with Giga for this one?
My heart was. My official pick was Arnold Allen.
Yeah, the pocketbook pick.
Yeah, I mean, full transparency, I thought Allen was going to come out and wrestle and maybe get a submission. I did not expect him to go and stand with Giga for 3 rounds. Didn't expect that at all. Shocked. I'm surprised, pleasantly surprised.
I will say I actually kind of did. And I thought that Allen could beat Chikadze on the feet. He's for Chikadze. Hey, first of all, I will say I don't think Allen was at all prepared for just how fast and sharp Chikadze is early. He looked like he was really caught off guard in that first round. But Allen, once he got the pace of the fight, once he kept the pressure up, he works a really good jab in a way that, like, Chikadze is sharp, but he doesn't have the same technical maintenance that Allen does round after round, minute after minute, of just being able to put a really technical, solid striking game together over and over and over. Chikadze's game it's very flashy, it's very fast, it's very powerful, but it slows down and it gets a little messy as it goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not this long strategy for Giga. It's in this moment, what can I explode with that will hurt you? And another thing is Giga doesn't really operate well on the back foot. You got to give him space and time for him to figure out what he wants to throw and then throw it. So if he's on the back foot, he's kind of in survival mode. You know, he's gassing out, getting slower, getting his nose all busted up from those jabs, make it harder to breathe for him.
Yeah, he was a little bit in the Edson Barboza galloping territory by round 3, where when you put Barboza on the back foot and his feet start shuffling and he can never plant and throw back, and that was where Giga was by the third round of that fight. Great performance from Allen. Honestly, a good fight from Chikadze, though, because even getting a really tough fight like that out of Allen, where he just got pressured a bunch, he did well. He could have. There was a good argument that he could have won the first 2 rounds of this fight. You know.
I don't know about that. He got wobbled in the second. Like he actually
Yeah.
got wobbled.
I felt like Allen did too, though. Maybe I'm misremembering, but let me see. Chikadze. Oh, I no, that's what it was. Is in the second, he had a really good last like minute of that round where he really turned it up on Allen late in that round, but it was otherwise not a great round for him.
Yeah.
So
Strong showing for Allen.
Strong showing, and not a terrible fight for Chikadze, but a tough loss. Allen, yeah, I don't know. Let's see, what's he got? Did he make a call out after that fight?
I thought he might have called someone out. I don't remember who though.
See.
He's not really a call out kind of guy.
No. Well, Josh Emmett needs a fight. You Josh Emmett, Arnold Allen.
Yeah, I'm here for that.
Emmett's coming off a big knockout win over Bryce Mitchell. He recently killed a man.
Yeah. Facts.
So, yeah, I'd be here for that kind of fight. All right. That brings us to a featherweight bout. Nathaniel Wood, Daniel Pineda. Man, I do not functionally understand this featherweight move for Nathaniel Wood. Like, he is tiny out there, and he keeps trying to wrestle guys, and they keep just like tossing him around in the cage. He had Daniel Pineda's number on the feet, absolutely crushing him. Busted his eye, hurt him to the body, killed him with low kicks. And then in like round 3, he just like tries to scoop a single leg, and Pineda just like hip tosses him to the mat and spends the entire third round on top of him. It's just like, and this wasn't new. This happened to Wood in like almost every round. He had a moment like that where he would start scrambling with Pineda and just end up getting out grappled and out wrestled. And this is the same thing that happened in his last fight against Naimov. And like, it's just, what is like, it makes sense to be a scrappy, fast-handed striker at 145, but if you're going to go out there and try to wrestle dudes, then being tiny is just not, it's just not the move, man.
It's not the move. Maybe it's just instinctual.
Yeah, I think it must be, but they're going to have to go through a deprogramming or something. I don't know.
But on the same token, Pineda hits fucking hard.
He does.
And when Pineda gets hurt, he starts swinging wildly. So that could have something to do with it too. You know what I mean? It's like, this guy's throwing some heat. I need to start. Or it's also because in that third round, Wood was defending a lot of takedowns early. And maybe in his mind, it's like, hey, I'm stuffing these takedowns. I'm winning these grappling exchanges. Maybe I'm exhausted on the feet from all this spinning around this guy. Maybe I need to lay on him and just be tired.
Sure.
Who knows?
Yeah. It's just frustrating because it's the second fight in a row, the Pineda and the Naimov fights for Wood, where it's just like he's just tangling up with much bigger, stronger guys, despite having really easy access to a striking advantage that he seems unwilling to stick with and hang his hat on.
It's tough though to stick with the striking when someone's trying to take your head off. You know,
in both fights, it is dudes that can absolutely crack and have power. So I get it in some ways. I just kind of think that at 5'6", maybe he's just not a featherweight.
He fought at bantamweight too, though, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a whole bunch of time at bantamweight, and then he moved
like
up.
This is like his fourth fight at featherweight.
Yeah, I think it's
something like that.
Yeah, maybe it is his fourth. Yeah, he actually, no, it's his fifth. Actually, he's been here for a minute, and I don't know. That's why I'm saying I don't really get it here. I don't really feel like his game works here the way it did at 135.
Well, I think his striking works here.
Yeah, it does, but he doesn't stick with it, you know? All right. Anyway, coming off that win, I don't know. Is there a must-see featherweight fight for Nathaniel Wood? Somebody not so huge who hit so hard, maybe?
What about Alex Caceres?
Sure. He's
He
coming off.
he grappled him at Polaris.
Yeah, that'd be fun, especially with Caceres coming off a couple losses. Caceres could use a bit of a step back, fun fight, or well, I did just say somebody who doesn't hit so hard, but Duho Choi did just get a really fun win.
That's interesting.
I would watch Choi Wood.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I don't think they could avoid grappling with one another too.
Yeah, that would be fun.
That might get real interesting.
All right, I'm saying it. Nathaniel Wood, Duho Choi, do it. All right, that brings us to a strawweight bout and Bruna Brazil, Molly McCann. Bad night for Molly. Great night for Bruna Brazil. She, the Fighting Nerds continues to be the most chatted out team out there. Another tall Adonis of a human that it looks like they have never opened a textbook in their entire lives. Just going out there and putting it on some, schlubby everyman, and then being, at least she had the good sense not to put on the taped up glasses afterward.
Where's your glasses, Zane? Why don't you throw them on in honor?
I took them off for the screen glare. Yeah. People got to know that this hate is genuine for me.
You got to get the ones without the lenses.
Yeah, well,
just for the show. Just for the show.
Real bitter part of that is that I didn't even have to wear fucking glasses until I was 30. So now I really gotta, I'm in the old man nerd place. That comes with an extra side.
Oh, you're not a nerd. You're just old, Zane. It's okay.
Okay, that's fair.
It's a birthright. But nah, Bruna beat the shit out of McCann here. She beat the shit out of her. Holy smokes. Those body kicks, those knees. I can't believe McCann made it out of the first round.
No.
They probably should have stopped the fight. Late bloomer nerd.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I mean, if some cruel person had not fed Molly McCann to Aaron Blanchfield at one point, I would have said that this was as dominated as Molly McCann has ever been. But yeah, she did not have. I mean, once Bruna Brazil started, once she attacked her and got her in the body to the point that McCann could not keep it together standing.
She kicked her in the puss first and foremost. Let's not forget. And somehow Molly came out of that with a big old lump on her head. What? How far did that kick go? Did the toe?
It's like one of those carnival fair things where you hit the hammer on the pad and the little wooden peg goes up and hits the bell at the top.
Sure.
One of those strength test games, yeah.
Straight out of a cartoon.
Yeah. Kick her hard enough that's just bing.
I need an animation of that.
Yeah. No, but yeah, I mean, once McCann started getting hurt to the body and didn't have the confidence to really put it on Brazil standing, this fight was just a total mess for her.
Huge improvement. Even won the second round. Molly might have even won the second round.
Yeah,
she rallied back, but
she did. She's tough. I'll give her that, but she's also bad. So, that's always overlooked. I don't have any dislike for Molly McCann. She seems like a very nice person. I'm sure she is a fun fighter with a fun fan base that loves to get engaged and really pump her up. But there were times that people would come to me and talk about oh, what do you think about what if they put Molly in with like, Valentina Shevchenko, or, put her in with some other top ranker, like she would get murdered.
We already saw that with Blanchfield.
Yeah. She does not have a grappling game that is functional, or a wrestling game that is really functional, or a defensive striking game that is functional. She's just not,
she doesn't have any consistent. She doesn't have a consistent game.
Yeah. She's got some power punching, and her footwork is bad on the front foot. And she's actually not a bad counter puncher, but she wants to go forward all the time, so she almost never puts herself in position to counter punch. And it's just messy. It's all messy. So great win for Brazil, but McCann, she's just not. There's never going to be a point where she actually gains momentum.
No.
All right, that brings us to a bantamweight bout. Jake Hadley coming in. I know, missing weight, so not quite a bantamweight bout, a featherweight bout, technically.
Also short notice.
Yeah, I forgive him for that. It's short notice. He took the fight up a division because he wasn't going to make his normal weight at flyweight. He got close. Whatever, half a pound. Who cares? But going out there with Keelan Loughran. There we go. It's Keelan Loughran. And showing up the prospects. Once again, just kind of showing that Loughran does not actually have a functional offensive MMA game.
Yeah, I mean, he stands like a fucking rock'em sock'em robot. Like, he is stuck in the mud. That guy there's.
He is not. He not only looks like a shrunken Marvin Vettori that was hit on the head with a big hammer, but fights exactly like a shrunken Marvin Vettori. Just, there must be something about that whole like physiognomy where if your head's shaped like that and your body is proportioned like that, you just can't bend at the hips and you have to fight like this.
Yeah, he's got like, if you know those animations where you have to guess the fighter by their stance.
Yeah,
this would be easy.
No one would get that one wrong. Well, it'd be 50-50. They'd be like, Marvin Vettori. Oh no. Damn it. Okay, the other one.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, Jake Hadley's not very good. So Jake Hadley coming out here and styling on the feet. Like, what?
Yeah, Loughran just he got through the amateurs through the regionals entirely with the Conor McGregor attitude and none of the Conor McGregor fighting. Just real cage pusher, grinding style, and it's been, I think, a pretty big wake up call for him in the UFC that just doesn't actually work.
Yeah, especially not a 135.
Yeah, you have to have an actually good wrestling game or some grappling and something to go to. But anyway,
not a good fight, man.
Not a good fight. Best left forgotten. Good win for Hadley to get in on short notice off 2-fight losing streak, up a division, and scrape out an ugly win. But not a good fight. All right. That brings us to the flyweight top contenders title eliminator bout.
You mean like the UFC contract eliminator?
Muhammad Mokaev Manelkop. And I know somebody already made this joke on Twitter, so I'm just stealing it. Shame. That's what Twitter's for anymore. So that's what I'm just here to do, is steal somebody else's joke. But there's that old video of the two dogs like barking at each other on the other side of the fence, and like
right.
Getting all vicious, and then the guy pulls the fence away, and both of the dogs just like immediately start like doing the nervous licking and just looking away from each other, and then you put the fence back and they go fucking nuts again.
What's more flyweight than that?
God damn it. Like, man, Dana White hates little guys already. He has made a whole career out of hating little guys. He hated lightweights. He hated guys so big that they were like normal sized fighters.
Bro, he hated the women. Remember that?
Well, he hated, but he hated like BJ Penn fought Cal Uno to a draw, and they scrapped lightweight for 3 years. Like he hated
Demetrius Johnson, Ben Askren,
and yeah, he has hated little guys way before it was cool. Why give him this fodder, man? Like these two got so amped. They were so ready to go after each other. We had security holding them back literally up until the moment the ref said, "Are you ready? All right, go." And Mokaev ran at Cop for 5 seconds, got hit once, and then stepped back 6 feet and spent the entire rest of the fight just circling and like throwing the occasional kick while Cop just mean mugged and occasionally landed one big punch.
To Cop's credit, he did break his big toe.
He did break his big toe. Yes, that was.
I don't know how he kept fighting through that.
That was the perfect, just like spoiling all of the idea of this fight thing. Yes, as somebody else mentioned here, when the real kicker was when Mokaev did that the Max Holloway point to the ground and then just immediately started backing up.
Yeah, no good. No boa. No boa.
And then he started talking about the UFC, telling him not. And the worst part is, and this is such an MMA fighter thing to do, because anybody who's watched or listened to this show for a long time knows that I am absolutely not one to rush to the UFC's defense. But the UFC did not tell him not to shoot on Manel Kape. Some guy in his camp told him that the UFC said that. And Mokaev internalized it and believed it. And then he repeated it out to the press. And that's just the dumbest thing you can do.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh,
after the fight,
maybe that's why he's getting cut.
In the interview, in the backstage interview after the fight, he told somebody that the UFC told him not to shoot. That he heard that the UFC was mad at him, did not want him to wrestle. He didn't even say the UFC told him. He said he heard that the UFC did not want him to shoot takedowns.
Wow.
And like, that's just, everybody has seen how mad Dana White gets at reporters for being right about things that like he can kind of deflect. Like, oh no, but we didn't actually do this. We never said that UFC, that Fight Island would be cool, or an island, then whatever. Like he will build a whole narrative. You give him something that like he can actually sink his teeth into, it's no wonder he's being all petty. So
no, I hope that makes a lot more sense why he's like, oh, he's going to the PFL.
I hope for Cop's sake that he can iron this out and backtrack, and because there's no market for flyweights out in the rest of the world.
There's no market for flyweights, period.
Yeah. The UFC is as good as he's going to get for flyweights. He could go to Ryzen, I guess, but that's not, I wouldn't, no, that's not a great idea.
Yeah, this is getting super weird.
Yeah.
Because Mokaev definitely went for takedowns.
Yeah. And then he tried to pass it off as like I don't know, just really stupid from him all around. This whole thing was just really stupid.
The whole thing, like the whole way through.
Yeah.
The little PI scuffle. Where's the footage of that? I would have rather watched that.
No kidding. These guys did way better job fighting outside the cage than they did in it. The pants pulling.
Honestly, this is like we see this all the time. Anytime there's legit beef, it never boils over in the cage. Ever.
Rampage Rashad. That's the classic.
The only time that I can remember is Khabib and Conor.
Also Jones DC.
And Jones DC. Yeah.
Those are the two.
Fought. Yeah.
That's because Jones is a legit psychopath. You don't want to beef with John Jones. That man is legitimately not afraid of any person on the planet.
No, John Jones will kill you.
Yeah.
He's the GOAT.
And then he'll lie to everybody about it. He'll never find your body. All right. That brings us to a welterweight bout. Oban Elliott, Preston Parsons. That was a fight that happened. Oban Elliott looked a lot better than he has in the past, so I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, he actually out-grappled Parsons.
Yeah.
Which I didn't see coming.
No. And he looked confident in his striking, too. So all of it, I just thought it was a much better performance from him than I thought would happen.
Yeah, no, his cardio held up really well, too.
Yep.
Parsons started fading. Elliott just stayed the course, kept the same tempo the whole way through. Really did look good.
Marcin Prachnio looked like he regressed straight back to those Sam Alvey days against Modestas Bukauskas. Just the most wild, overextended, formless striking I have seen from him in years. There was a moment where he tried to jab the body, and then he came back up and backhanded Bukauskas on the same punch, like the jab and then like rolling for a backhand. Or he threw a hook so hard that he tripped over and like fell into the cage.
Who else hit a backhand tonight? Was it Mick Parkin as part of his ground and pound? I think he hit a back fist in there. Yeah. Yeah, Bukauskas, man.
Yeah.
He's wild, but he's fun.
He almost got knocked out still in this fight, but got it done.
Prachnio is crazy. He's a wild man. He's like a full-on wild man. He was just like kicking the body, just not really going for the head. Such a weird style to deal with.
It was a very, very silly, sloppy fight. But hey, yeah, Bukauskas, he's actually, back on the horse. Got a badly needed win after that Petrino KO. So good for him. That brings us to a welterweight fight. Sam Patterson, Kiefer Crosby. And maybe if Sam Patterson can keep this up, I'll have to reassess. He used to be, he is genetically predisposed to carry his chin way too high.
Sure.
So I can't hate him too much for it. But he talked about actually like hearing that commentary and going back to the gym and working on keeping his chin down. And he just kind of whooped Kiefer Crosby. So good on him.
Yeah. His chin definitely does stick up in the air. He's got that tall man lag. That tall man.
Well, his neck is so long. Like,
it has nothing to do with anything physical, Zane. It has everything to do with who you train with.
No, I'm sorry. Bilal Muhammad could not pick his chin up to save his life. That there is no neck between the chin and the shoulders. The head is this big. It's just weight is just pushing it down. Patterson, that neck is like it's like up to here. It's like he had the rings on.
He's been stretching his neck.
Yeah.
Next will be the plate.
Yeah. That man has the longest neck I've seen on him.
When he learned how to strike, he got away with doing the tall man stuff.
Yeah.
He got away with it for too long, and now it's just how he strikes. It's ingrained in him. But his grappling is fucking...
Yeah. That was nice. Otherwise, Mick Parkin knocking out Lucas Brzeski. I was happy to see this. I thought this fight was for sure going to be a 3-round, low-power, heavyweight slog.
Same. But Parkin showed off a little bit of power here. I liked it.
Good to see.
Showing some urgency, some finishing ability.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, he did that little back fist on the ground.
Yeah.
Always a fan of the back fist.
And Shauna Bannon barely scraped out a decision over Alice Ardeline. Less said about that, the better.
Yeah, that fight was trash. That was an unprofessional fight.
All right. On that note, we're going to wrap this up. All told, a really weird production night for the UFC. The crowd tried their best to bring life to it for the Pimblett and Aspinall fights. But that Muhammad Edwards main event was a killer for a bunch of people who just stayed up all night, who are all in their 30s and 40s. One thing, if the tickets are cheap enough that these are like, 18-year-olds getting fucking rowdy out there. But these people paid like $500 a seat. They are all exclusively parents and adults.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I can't believe they did that.
Yeah.
Just goes to show how callous the UFC is. They only care about the bottom line.
All right. On that note, though, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. You can find me on Twitter at the Zane Simon. You can find Eddie on Twitter at the Eddie Mercado. You can find the show on Substack in the description down below. Subscribe. Help us out. Keep us running. We appreciate all the support. It means the world. And otherwise, you can find me on Substack at zanesimon.substack.com. And Eddie, you got your Eddie Mercado YouTube channel as well, right?
I do. Yeah.
All right.
And,
so you can
the regular Twitter and the
all
gram
that
and all that. It's all the Eddie Mercado everywhere.
Thanks, everyone, for tuning in, and we will see you next time.